guys, it's Miss Reading. Today, lesson 10 is describing characters, specifically in a drama, although you could apply what we do today to any type of fictional text where you're trying to describe a character. So you should have open this. These are the materials that you need today, describing characters in a text. We're going to focus on this cartoon in a second. But before we begin looking at the cartoon, I just want to review quickly what is a drama or a play, because I don't know how many of these you guys have read before, but chances are you already know some things about it anyway. So a drama or a play is a story acted out on stage using a script, which usually contains the following components: a cast of all the characters, or a list of the major characters, a description of the setting where the story takes place, where the play takes place rather, lines of dialogue, which are what the characters say on stage to each other or to themselves on stage, and stage directions, which will usually be in a different font than the actual dialogue, because this tells how the characters should move and speak. So, come to think about it, have you ever seen a play or a drama before? Chances are you probably have, and you probably don't even realize it. So, identifying character traits. So, in order to learn more about characters, we pay close attention to these 4 things. If we pay close attention to these 4 things, we'll be able to tell all about them, we'll be able to describe them more accurately. So, we pay attention to their thoughts, their feelings, their actions, and the words that they say. So, by looking at all of these components about a character, either in a play or in a fictional text, we can describe them, we can give them a character trait. And a lot of you already know character traits from our P2, so you're kind of a step ahead. But these are additional character traits that I put on this slideshow. There's a million different character traits, but these are just some. These are obviously really easy ones that we can use: nice, mean, sad, but these are other synonyms for those same words that are character traits we can use. These are like positive, and these are negative character traits. So if you're looking for a character trait to use in your writing or when you're describing somebody, you can always refer to these. There's also a bajillion of these signs, these like papers on Google if you search them. So let's look at the cartoon. So in this cartoon, it says, study the cartoon below to identify details that tell you about Edmund. So this looks like in the background there's a little alien ship. There's a big dog. Looks like he's barking. Doesn't look too nice, but he's probably nice. He's barking because the alien. There's a little alien. There's a big alien. It says, "Hurry, Edmund. They're going to leave without us. Then we'll never get home." And this is Edmund. He's saying, "What kind of furry monster is that?" He's like biting his nails, and he looks like he's shaking because you could see the little movement things around him. He looks a little scared. So, what we're going to do now is we are going to break down what we know, what we can identify as a trait, a character trait, based off of what we saw in the cartoon, based off of Edmund, or we're focusing on Edmund, what we saw, his thoughts, feelings, words, and actions. So, I'm sorry, I've already kind of done this for you. So, things that I saw in the text. So, Edmund thinks the dog is a monster, so that's something he thought, thinks. Forgive me, I haven't had any coffee yet today. Edmund is biting his fingernail, so that's something he's doing, his actions. Edmund is hiding behind a tree. That's his actions, so we can assume he's scared. That's a feeling. He's calling also another word, so he even calls the dog a monster. So based off of his thoughts, feelings, actions, and words. Also, it's important to note the other alien is not like scared of the dog. It's just Edmund. So that kind of lets us know a little bit more about his character, and not just that they're both like scared of something. So we could describe Edmund as fearful, we could describe him as worrisome, we could describe him as nervous. So real quickly, we're going to look at the next play, and we're going to focus on the character Iris as we read this text, and think about how we can figure out how she's competitive and she is determined in the treasure. So it's going to be a little bit interesting because I'm going to be reading both parts. This is especially wish I was in school, so somebody could read this with me. but you could always read it with me too, as you follow along. Okay, so this is called The Treasure by Mabel Astor. So setting, this is what we mean by stage directions, by the way. These are stage directions. Setting. Iris and Gus, her younger brother, stands in a forest. Iris holds a map. So this must be Iris right here. She's holding a little map. Iris, studying the map. We're supposed to turn left up here by that big tree. Gus, nervous. But it's getting dark, and Mom told us to be back for dinner. Iris, annoyed. Seriously, Gus? We're searching for buried treasure. The world won't end if we get home a little late. Gus, nodding his head. Yeah, I guess you're right. Hesitantly. But, Iris, that's more like it. Let's get going. We can't let Victor and Elsa beat us. They start walking. A sudden breeze whips the map from Iris's hand. Sorry. These names are so close together. Iris. Oh no, the map! A huge wind gust whisked the map into the tree. Gus. Now what are we going to do? Iris. I guess one of us is going to have to climb up there. Gus. But I'm afraid of heights. Iris, shivering. I am too, but do you think I'm going to let that stop us? We're so close. She takes a deep breath and starts climbing. Gus. Look, it's points to a gold coin in the dirt under the tree. Alright, so we're going to go back to this. How would we describe, well, obviously we have these character traits, competitive. So what in the text about Iris lets me know that she's competitive? So if I'm looking back at the text, the number one thing that pops out to me that she's competitive is like, first of all, her brother is scared to death to search for this treasure, and it's getting dark and whatnot. And then she says, let's get going. We can't let Victor and Elsa beat us. So that is something that tells me she's very competitive. Says we can't let Elsa, I'm sorry, I have a neighbor named Elsa, so I'm thinking of him. We can't let, who is it? Victor and Elsa beat us. She's encouraging him to keep going, even though he's scared. Determined, the same thing, right? She's encouraging him to keep going, even though he's scared. Like, she keeps going. Another thing that lets me know she's determined is that her brother says, I'm afraid of heights. And then she's like, I'm too, but I'm not going to let that stop us. So she's determined because she says, I'm not going to let that stop us. And because she climbs the tree, so she can, and this also proves she's competitive too. She climbs the tree so she can win, even though she's afraid of heights. Alright, so you can see this is the type of work I'm expecting you to do today when you're reading independently. What you are going to be reading independently is William Tell. Think about this as you're reading the play. This is also based off of an old folk tale, so you may have heard something like this before. But as you're reading the play, think about this as the most important question. What kind of people are William Tell and the officer? So how would you describe them? When you finish reading, you are going to go to the independent work doc. Make sure you're filling in everything that is blank. It says, after reading William Tell, fill in the character trait chart below by using at least 2 character traits and at least 2 details from the text to support the trait. So you're writing about William Tell. After you do that, you're describing the character of William Tell, doing a race response. Use this to help you. That is going to be very easy if you have this already. After you finish reading William Tell, which is the next, so hold on, my screen is freezing now all of a sudden. Sorry, this is William Tell. After you finish William Tell, you are going to read Robin Hood and the Mournful Knight. FYI, the word mournful means sad, or somebody that is like regretting something, somebody that feels like badly about something. So mournful, usually mourn for something like when somebody passes away or when something bad happens. So that's what that word means. So you are going to read Robin Hood and the Mournful Knight, and then you are going to complete these comprehension questions on your Google Forms. Let me know if you have any questions. See you soon, hopefully today on our grade 4 Zoom.